Welcome race fans back to SVR. My name is Webbo, here to enjoy the racing with you guys as usual. And we are ready for round 7 of the G2 Championship. This is being held at the Circuit de Catalunya or very close to Barcelona. And this is how our standings look after the 6 rounds were done and dusted and all the steward inquiries were finished with. Leigh lead the championship on 130 points, 20 ahead of Kimi's racing team, and Mega Racing currently in 3rd place, also on 3 digits, 108 points for that team. We have Coach Dave on 94, Buckstein on 93, Jann on 78, and Bro Carga in the somewhat ill-favoured Toyota Supra on 51 points. In the Drivers' Championship, JCGT holds on to the slenderest of leads of just 1 point ahead of Pumpkin King. JCGT not enjoying a particularly strong run of form in the last couple of races. I'm sure hoping to get straight back onto the podium today. Now that we're back onto a permanent racing circuit, and a grid start with a wide track should help those rocket ship Ferraris. Redux is 3rd on 61 with Apex not found. Monkey Games, Black Evo, Breo and Apex Specs all in the top 8. Outside of the top 8 you've got Quicks, Motsky, Gubanov, Rhino, Kelvin the Boss, D. Lucas and Ed Fields as well in our championship, having scored 1 point but only taken part in, of course, 1 race so far. So we are looking forward to the race. This is how things shape up after qualifying. Quicks managed to only get at the very back of qualifying. I spy some new sponsors on the back window there. I hope that doesn't impede his view out of the rear view mirror. But in 14th position out on row 7. Joining him is Gubanov for Mega Transport. Kelvin the Boss qualified in 12th with Black Evo, just 1 step ahead in 11th place. Row 5 features the Bro Carga pairing of Breo and De Lucas. We have Apex Specs in 8th in the Audi R8 for Coach Dave, but alongside him is Soulshock in the new Pride celebrating livery for the Kimi's racing team. On row 3, Motsky is the highest placed team Mega driver, and Monkey Games is driving for Leigh in 5th place. We have Revelit in 4th place. Not sure if he's changed codes or he's just going to reserve for today. And Rizbak qualified in 3rd place, in a good place for him on the 2nd row of the grid. But the front row of the grid is shared by Apex Not Found and by Pumpkin King. We have an overcast and very warm and humid day here in Catalonia for you. Well, with all that said, let's get into the racing action then. Got 5 red lights. We are ready for round 7 of the championship. And it's drop the clutch and go, go, go. The Mustachio Pumpkin King jumping away nicely. But of course, it's Rizbak in the Ferrari who gets a lightning start and straight screaming up into P1 he goes and leading the way. The second Ferrari of Rizbak also standing out naturally at the moment. Revelit getting into 2nd place in the Lamborghini. This grid start definitely helping our Italian manufacturers, but Pumpkin King started on the hard tyres, so he's got to quite a lot of racing to do, and presumably going to be suffering a little bit of wear. Rizbak versus Revelit on the medium and hard tyres respectively, so Revelit gaining a position despite being on the hard tyres. Motsky has settled into 4th place at the moment. It looks like our field are okay, with the exception of 1 driver at the back. Let's try and perhaps see who that is. And what happened to Kelvin the Boss? Well, Kelvin the Boss got away relatively slowly away from the start on the hard tyres, and it's his first trip through turn 3, and you can hear the car starting to get away from him already, going to 90 degrees and then trying to calm it all down again down into the turn 5 Cinco. And we have Monkey Games looking for an opportunity, possibly defending on Breo, but has managed to split the 2 Bro Carga cars at the moment. At least he's in 8th place, but has dropped back. Obviously, Leigh going for the hard tyres together. We've also got Solshock hot on the heels of Motsky here. Solshock on the mediums, as is Motsky. So they'll both be trying to maximise this early stint, even though they're on hard tyres. The cars can run out all the way wide onto the green painted surface on the exit of the turn 9 Nuevi as we head down into turn Detze. And it is Breo in 9th place, Gubanov in 10th, up from the back of the grid. Gubanov on the racing soft tyres, and he is looking very racy indeed. Apex Specs in 11th and Quicks in 12th. Black Evo is the one driver we haven't caught yet in his camo Jackson Pollock livery there. Now you've got Gubanov trying to go around the outside on the way into the chicane, ends up losing a position to Apex Specs, who is very quick to pounce on that opportunity. Perhaps Gubanov was forced into that manoeuvre by accident. This is on board with Gubanov. We're just looking to our left as much as we can. We can't quite see another car, but it's both Bukestein cars screaming on by. That is very unfortunate for Gubanov, who was very much hampered coming out of the final sector, unfortunately, by accident or by design. Gubanov down to 13th position, sadly, for Team Mega at this stage, and the fact that he's on those early soft tyres. Well, you've got Revelit now having to hold off championship ascending Pumpkin King, and the man on form at the moment, Revelit, is now going to be doing his level best here to put Pumpkin King in as difficult a position as possible. Motsky and Solshock, respectful racing between the two of them, going side by side through turn 5, the Cinco, once again, as we make contact. Unfortunately, looks like contact with Motsky, and what a save by Motsky. Let's follow this again then. Motsky running out of turn 5, heading down towards well, turn 7, that is 6, turn 7, bit of braking, bit of action, and then Solshock nerfs into Motsky, doesn't gain a position, ends up losing out to Apex Not Found, and Motsky, well, I'm going to give 2 style points for that hold. That was absolutely beautiful from Motsky, and I'll try not to give off any bias there, but I think you'll agree it was very, very well done by him, although it wasn't exactly a deliberate drift. Oh, that's a nice move coming from De Lucas as well. Doesn't quite pull it off, but certainly went for the gap that was left by Solshock. Solshock, I think, just a little bit once bitten, twice shy at the moment, thinking about his next manoeuvre. I notice he doesn't have his name on the nose as the G1 drivers did. That looks like we've got Motsky in the Lexus. The car quite light on its feet, the Lexus, in terms of its ability to put down any kind of grip, and it looks like it's caught out both drivers here out in the chicane on successive laps, unfortunately. So Motsky ahead of Apex Not Found in 4th and 5th positions. Solshock. And then going down the order, you've got De Lucas, Monkey Games, and then you've got Breo under threat from Apex Specs, who moves his way forward. Obviously didn't get a good qualifying clean lap in Apex Specs, but looking to move forward as much as possible. Got the 2 Nismos of Bukestein Racing in different liveries, it has to be said. Black Evo in 11th and Quicks in 12th, and they are on a different tyre strategy. Quicks is on the slower strategy, as it were, and then has to hold off Gubanov, who's now re-caught him in that 13th place. Kelvin the Boss, a little bit of work to do here to catch the field. It looks like then Gubanov, as I mentioned before, soft tyres, lots of grip, going around the outside for the outside-inside cutback, and this could favour him through turn 6, which is a left-hander. Then the next left-hander is into 7, and he's already by. And he timed that cut back nicely, but another tank slapper for Gubanov this time. And Team Mega desperately searching for downforce at the moment, and it's not happening very well. Rizback, first position still, out in a way the leader of the race. Looks like Pumpkin King though has got by. Not quite sure when that took place. But I'm going to do my best to try and find it for you. I'm guessing it was towards turn 1. Let's try and keep going back until we see when that happened. Where are we? Unfortunately, it happened way too far away for us to really track. So we will just try and re-skip back forward again. We'll rejoin Pumpkin King then ahead of Revelet, both on the hard tyre. Revelet doing a great job reserving here in G2. Motsky on the mediums is at this point actually seeming to hold up Apex Not Found and Soulshock, and he's certainly going to be looking in his mirrors every time he heads into turn 7 at the moment, into the Nueve, turn 9 before the short straight, which in these GT3s doesn't really allow for a move into turn 10. He says, as Apex Not Found has a little look, but of course some home field knowledge. Apex Not Found, of course, he'll be keen to please the crowd here today. Love the helmet design on Soulshock's helmet. It really looks mean with the eyes looking around. There's a yellow flag on the circuit. Can't quite see at this stage from my position who it has caused that, but it has passed very quickly. There's some plenty of action in the rear view mirror here. Let's just play that back, shall we, and see what happened. We've got Monkey Games behind. Monkey Games a slightly wider entry, slightly slower entry than the car behind, which is Apex Specs, who then muscles his way by somewhat aggressively. But we will wait and see if the stewards disliked that manoeuvre, as Monkey Games has to now defend with a problematic momentum coming out of the final sector. Breo has the ascendant opportunity here down into turn 1. Breo, this is rare here for the Toyota Supras, and not making the best case for a car swap that seems to be being discussed at the moment for the Bro Carga team. Breo in P8, having made that move past Monkey Games, in small part thanks to the Coach Dave driver Apex Specs at this stage. So Monkey Games 9th, Black Evo 10th, Gubanov 11th. Quicks has been now properly passed by Gubanov. Took a while, and now his soft tyres are going to be very second best. 50 minutes, 50 minutes are what we are expecting to see here today from the G2, or at least going into the race. That's what I'm expecting. Sometimes we have a fixed lap race for around that period. Sometimes it is as it is today. So we have Rizbak leading the race by a good 2.5 to 3 seconds at this point, and behind them you've got Apex Not Found with that home field knowledge and advantage in 3rd position ahead of Soulshock. Motsky having dropped back behind both of them now, unfortunately. So some work to do here for Motsky. As then we've got Apex Specs going side by side, trading paint with the Lucas, and Apex Specs gets the move done through an unusual position through turn 12 and 13. These are the two penultimate and final corners then that they come through now, passing the pit lane. Of course, I'm half expecting to see Gubanov heading on into the pits actually at the moment, but he's picked up a half-second penalty. Those soft tyres aren't in great form at the moment for him, as Quicks looks to be quicker away from the final corner than Gubanov, who now has to just worry about being caught here, as the Nismo GTR is in that 12th position and joined by teammate as well. At the front of the grid, Rizbak leads ahead of Pumpkin King. Different tyres. Rizbak has a slight pace advantage on the tyre at this stage. Certainly the Ferraris have a slight advantage when it comes to fuel economy as well. Apex Not Found, followed by Soulshock, 3rd and 4th positions, and Motsky in 5th place now, again on the medium tyre. Set of drivers all starting on that medium tyre. We'll see how that strategy works out for them. It could be a one-stop potentially, I'm guessing here. They might try and make a one-stop medium and hard tyre combination work, but certainly in G1 with the extra 10 minutes, it was a clear-cut two-stop for pretty much anyone who wanted to be competitive by the end of the race. It's great to see the Bro Carga cars in 7th and 8th position, but it does look like perhaps Breo is being reeled in here by Black Evo, another driver, a bit like Apex Not Found, who you would not expect to be qualifying quite so low down as he did in the 46, but clearly able to make a few more moves forward here and try and maximise his race weekend. Black Evo has a great run here, tucked up behind Breo, should get the slipstream, and should be our most likely overtaking opportunity potentially here. Certainly less than a tenth of a second between the two of them, and he peels across to the inside, given the inside actually by Breo, who decides that it's better to stay on the outside line. But that was a good overtake from Black Evo. Quite often you see drivers on the inside either under or overestimate the amount of grip going down into there, but Breo was very much equal to it, and he races through turn 3 then on lap 6. The drivers will be constantly looking up at the clouds. From a driver's perspective here, it is quite dark and threatening, but I don't believe any actual showers were forecast during the time of the race ahead anyway, so they'll probably be just checking occasionally the radar on their HUD. Looks like Apex specs also moving forward, so props to the Coach Dave engineer. That is going to help matters. DeLucas going wide through turn 7, and Apex specs, well, that was birthdays and Christmas all at once as he goes through and completes the overtake then, thanks to just going slightly sideways. You've got Breo just offline as well, and touching grass on the way into turn 10. But Monkey Games unable to capitalise. A little bit of lag on the car, unsurprising really. Monkey Games racing with us at 5 AM from New Zealand, so a long way for that internet signal to communicate. Gubernov in P12, just being repassed now by Quicks. Those soft tyres are dead, so he'll be, I'm sure, going in for the first of our scheduled pit stops and trying to get the Lexus to perform suspension miracles over that apex there. In comes Gubernov. That's going to allow Revelit, who clearly has had contact and damage on the car. Unfortunately, Revelit, he's had contact at the front, damaged the front of the car. I don't think has been into the pits at this stage to change off the tyres. So Rizback leads us, continues to lead us. In fact, that pace between himself and Pumpkin King has been fairly equalised, but Pumpkin King now putting in some successive 1 minute 49 laps. He's decided that now is the right time to pounce. The hard tyres will be in a much better condition than the mediums will be feeling for Rizback. He's had a 149.5, but the previous lap a 150.919 to an almost identical lap from Pumpkin King, who has that fastest lap of the race so far, 49.277. DeLessi certainly doing a great job here in G2 in the team standings, and being expertly engineered and prepped for the races, as well as I'm hearing from the podcast into the slipstream, the SVR podcast with permanent hosts Empire and Aria. If you haven't listened to it yet, do give it a listen and try and give it a 5-star review as well. Soulshock right behind. Apex Not Found. Looks like Apex Not Found has found his way through and to an Apex ahead here of Soulshock, who's also then put in a 1 minute 49 on this lap. So these two drivers starting to get better and better. Soulshock coming side by side here with Apex Not Found, who still has the overlap slightly as they head into the corner, and actually a really neat and tidy sequence from both of them as the newly liveried for the month of June, I think, Kimi's racing team car has to find another opportunity. Still having a look in the mirrors here. Slightly early turn in, I think, from Apex Not Found, just dissuading a last second dive bomb. Although if Soulshock had committed to that dive bomb, there was nothing that an early turn in would have helped to prevent it. But these two drivers looking very good at this stage. That Ferrari presumably using less fuel. Well, actually the Audi is seemingly quite equal in its fuel usage at this stage of the race, especially under the tutelage of both pilots. Apex Not Found 3rd position, Soulshock 4th. I think both drivers would probably be hoping for more than those two positions today. McGee has managed to open a bit of a gap here to Black Evo. All these drivers on the medium tyre. Back to De Lucas, who is now significantly ahead of his teammate Breo. De Lucas on the hard tyres, as is Breo. Quicks likewise. Some teams have gone with the same strategy. Some have gone for a split strategy between them. Rysback pits from the lead of the race off the medium tyres. Is lap 8 going to be the time when we see our drivers come in? Gubanov has already pitted. Apex Specs and Monkey Games have just recently pitted for a fresh set of mediums and soft tyres respectively. Soulshock comes in as well at the end of lap 8, so it does seem to be on the sooner side. But maybe the driver's thinking that possibly the hard tyre window is now open. Hards and mediums required for G2, but obviously softs are available to the drivers if they wish to make a second stop. McGee now into 3rd place. Rysback comes out into 8th place. I don't know if that's going to feel particularly good for him. He'll try and stay ahead here of Revelit, but it'll be a voyage into the unknown, into the apex of the first corner on cold tyres. He's gone on to a second set of medium tyres, is Rysback, after just 15 minutes of racing on the mediums himself. So I'm sure we'll be looking for a 20-minute stint on the hards later on. But he'll be able to run these on a slightly lower fuel load, although he hasn't actually... He's put more fuel in, I was going to say. So that's an interesting decision from Rysback. I would have thought he's over-fueled here for the medium tyre stint. They'll try and get as many laps as possible into the medium stint. This is Kelvin the Boss, with Soulshock having just come out on brand new hard tyres. Another beautiful switchback here, this time from Soulshock, who's hugging that inside line, trying to leave the space on the outside. Revelit battling on. Kelvin battling on very well with the blue mirrors and rear wing end plates, but Soulshock right around the outside, and that was just the kind of racing we want to see here at SVR. Very neatly done as they come through. I'm just going to go back even further. You can see both drivers leaving enough space generously at each respective apexes. I thought Kelvin the Boss would be able to go into this corner, but you do have to just tap the brakes. And Soulshock going fully around the outside, making use of those extended track limits on the exit, as is absolutely legitimate. And Soulshock into 10th position then, ahead of the Lamborghini Huracan of the Jamplacht Interiors car. Big thank you to all of our title sponsors, of course. Black Evo has gone into the pits. He has gone off the medium tyre. Pumpkin King and Apex not found with McGee, your current top 3, as we see. Pumpkin King on the hard tyres, as he has been from the start of the race, of course. Medium tyres for these 2nd and 3rd position drivers, but it looks like the front left really running out here for McGee. Apex not found in a much better place with his tyre. I wonder if they'll be tempted to think about a 20-minute, 30-minute medium and hard tyre stint, and just one stop this on those cars that can make better use of the tyre allocation here. De Lucas and Breo looking great for Bro Cargo, you have to say, at the moment. 4th and 5th position. Yes, they've got pit stops to make, but Breo, they've elected to start on the hard tyre. They've managed to stay out of trouble. They'll be able to run these cars pretty light on the fuel load, using the hard tyre to start with. And now they can even make use of the slipstream and actually help each other along here a little bit, and not be holding each other up. So it's looking good for the Toyota Supra all of a sudden here in Catalunya. Behind them, you've got Quicks, another Japanese manufacturer, this time the Nissan Nismo GTR. Beautiful, menacing looking GT3 car, the Nismo. Absolutely fabulous. Not had the pleasure of spending any real time in the car myself, but I hear it's a well balanced and good car to be driving. So lots of stickers to accompany the new Pride rainbow livery here for the Kimmy's racing team. We're very proud in turn at SVR to support and make sure that we have a very inclusive community for everybody. Here are the Bro-Cargo pairing. I thought they might start looking at swapping the positions, but Breo's still just behind DeLucas. I managed to follow Breo into a spin earlier in the in the week of trading here in these cars, but he's managed to iron out that tendency, I think, with his downforce settings. I love to see the little Webbo comms sticker on the back diffuser. It's one of the standout features here of the Toyota. Not only that sort of crimped roof, but also the very long diffuser. Then you've got Quicks making his way being passed by Rysback. I was trying to reconfigure that sentence and it didn't work at all. Rysback then, former leader of the race, on the second set of mediums, reasonable amount of fuel on board as well. Back on the ascendancy, back into 5th place, our Frenchman here for the Kimi's racing team as he runs through. It's lap 11. It's the minute 20 of the 50-minute race. So I don't know if anybody has managed to get the mediums this deep. They have. Here is Apex Not Found and DeLucas. So the Audi and the Supra, the Audi certainly has been able to get this far into the race, 20.5 minutes. Does that mean they can get 30 minutes out of the hard tyre and save a pit stop? Time will tell, of course. Rysback in 5th, Quicks in 6th. We've got Revelit, who has suffered damage on the car. Will be good for another few laps, I think, here for Jan Plak, but he's now in 7th place on the same start-finish line as the leaders. Not completely out of touch here. I will say same start-finish line as the podium. The actual leader, Pumpkin King, is gapping the field as we have somewhat come to expect here. Solshock, 7th place. New hard tyres for Solshock. And then lots of nice clear air on the car to just concentrate on pumping in those lap times now and make sure that he maximises his stint. Brand new hard tyres for Apex Not Found. Comes out of the pits from 2nd into 8th position with Kelvin the boss here. Kelvin on the used hard tyres, so shouldn't have a pace advantage, although they are, of course, warmer at this stage. This could get a little bit dicey as Kelvin dives very deep into turn 4, and thankfully Apex Not Found saw it coming, went for the switch back, might do the same again here, outside to inside earlier on the throttle, but he is then a little bit blocked as they head down through turn 6 and into the lowest point on the circuit, the turn 7 gap. And then climbing back up again, and they continue to virtually climb. There's a small drop on the way between turns 9 and 10 on the straight, and actually Apex Not Found really struggling here with the new hard tyres. Black Evo's tyres are up to temperature. He's going down the inside into turn 10. Oh dear, that's a block pass from Black Evo, unfortunately. I think that was a miscalculation. It was a little bit late on the brakes, was Black Evo. His focus, of course, was on outbraking Apex Not Found. I'm sure he didn't mean to try and take an extra position here. Obviously, there's a gap in front of him, but he is way, way, way late on the brakes and unfortunately just couldn't get it stopped and clatters into Kelvin the boss. They'll go 3 wide on the way through. Thankfully, Black Evo obviously not keen to take advantage of that situation, but that has hurt Kelvin the boss, who then loses out to Apex Not Found. Obviously they're on different strategies, but Kelvin was trying to hold him off as long as possible and hold on to that position. Apex Not Found has come away, all 3 cars without damage, thankfully, as well. So it was a fairly low speed shunt from that late braking manoeuvre from Black Evo. I fully expect he was looking out of his rear view mirror and out of his side window, I should say, and just trying to brake later than Apex Not Found. He wiggles the car, just tries to generate a little bit of heat into those front tyres. I don't think he's trying to stop the slipstream. He does get a little nerf for his trouble, I think, heading into turn 1. Did he manage to hold it and keep it together? Just about. Kelvin Certainly, I think Apex Not Found, wishing he'd come out of the pits in a slightly better situation. Apex Not Found has picked up a 1-second penalty, unfortunately, for running wide or running off track. I think after the contact with Kelvin, as they go side by side again, Black Evo and Kelvin the boss. So Kelvin, Black Evo, pretty much Kelvin is struggling on his hard tyres now, having done 24 minutes on them, whereas the two drivers, fore and rear, are both on newer hard tyres, and you can just see that as he fails to reach the apex, the car just not responding, and the understeer taking effect as he tries to turn into 7 through turn 9. I imagine it'd be a similar story. You either get understeer or underspeed through the corners if you've corrected properly. This is Apex Not Found with the 1-second penalty, of course, losing out the positions now to both Black Evo for a moment. Well, is he going to hold on next to Black Evo? They have to play very nicely through this sector if they're going to survive, and they do. I think, am I right in seeing that Apex Not Found is racing a vintage Alonso helmet as a proud Spaniard? Kelvin the Boss going a little bit wide here. Now he'll be conscious of the fact that he actually wants to come into the pit lane, I imagine, momentarily. Not quite yet from Kelvin, but managing not to turn into Black Evo that time, and I'm sure everybody breathing a sigh of relief in this group. Monkey Games in 11th place on the soft tyres, just going for a 2-stop here today. Apex Specs medium tyres in 12th. Gubinoff medium tyres at the moment. Started on the softs, and Motsky pitted out from the provisional 4th position down into 14th position now, so that's a big loss of places at this stage of proceedings. Still to pit Pumpkin King out front on the hard tyres, 25.5 minutes deep into the race in the Porsche. Of course, it's a rear engine, rear wheel drive car, the Porsche. Should mean that when you've got a front limited circuit on the tyre wear like this one, that he will last that little bit longer than most other drivers. Risbach is managing to get back into 2nd position now. That has been a really good second medium tyre stint from Risbach. We'd like to see some smooth operating there from Risbach, as De Lucas is in 3rd place still, just like Pumpkin King on the hard tyre from the start, and having actually protected that front left quite nicely, especially you compare him to Brayo, who's driving the same car, of course, and hopping over. It looks like end of lap 14 is plan A for the Brokaga team. Now, can they get 24 minutes on lighter fuel out of the medium tyre and 1-stop this? I imagine they will give it a good college try. Quicks promoted to 3rd. Solshock back to 4th position now. Quicks is not pitted. Again, being quite light on his tyres. I think if you can use that extra lap here, that will obviously help you later on. Revelit still on the hard tyres. He has done a phenomenal job protecting that front left in the Lamborghini, but he will take extra time at the pit stop, I think, to mend the aerodynamics at the splitter end, the front end of his Lamborghini. You can actually see some scuff marks on the car there. I don't know if he actually went into a barrier or a rival. Usually if you've gone into a rival, you can see rear damage on that rival's car. Black Evo, 6th position then on the hard tyres. And likewise for Apex Not Found, who was 2nd. And they've both had a pit stop, Black Evo. And Black Evo's got himself ahead of Apex Not Found at this stage. Interesting development there. And then we've got the 2nd Apex, Mr. Specs, on the mediums. His 2nd set of tyres so far, Apex Specs, running in P8. Kelvin the Boss is having to pitch surely at the end of this lap, and Airplane movie fans I can hear already echoing "Don't Call Me Shirley." Kelvin the Boss, P9, still struggling on that tyre, but I think has done a great job here to get 28 minutes into the race. I think Pumpkin King has stayed out for another lap. Heroic effort here. De Lucas out of the pits. We just saw him go into the pits. De Lucas out. Gubinoff protecting that medium again. Gubinoff, soft to medium for Gubinoff. medium to hard for Motsky, but I think something odd must have taken place on Motsky's in-lap prior to the pit stop. I think may have had an off-track excursion, because that is an unnaturally far back position then for Team Mega, and the Team Mega fastest driver Motsky shouldn't really be down in 13th place. So this is Monkey Games as Delesi bookend our race. Monkey Games in 14th, being caught by teammate Pumpkin King, but presumably is on his way in towards the pit lane. As I said, trying to get that 30th minute out of the hard tyres. So it looks like this is definitely on for the drivers who stopped off the medium at around the 20 or more minute mark. Looks like 30 is definitely possible if you have less fuel and a more rubbered up track surface as well into the Nightmare chicane here. It's very, very careful running through there, of course, because it's so easy to get it wrong. As Pumpkin King now pits then finally with 11 litres of fuel remaining on the car. Rysback, well, he'll be hoping to get out and be able to see Pumpkin King at least, but of course he has a further pit stop to make, Rysback, because he has to change tyre compound, and he's only used the medium tyres twice so far in the race for the Ferrari powered Kimi's racing team. Fairly long hold in the pits then for Pumpkin King. I'm sure Rysback not keen to get involved in a battle with Pumpkin, who is adding up to 75 litres of fuel in the car. So as I say, a long hold there with the fuel, but he should be fueled to a finish now as Soul Shot comes through. He's on the hard tyres. He has just over half a tank of fuel left. That means that Pumpkin King is expecting to use a lot more, or Soul Shock is expecting to use a third set of tyres. I wonder how that's going to work out. And we've got some close racing now at lap 17. Apex Not Found and Black Evo. Now, Apex Not Found will be slightly annoyed to be out of the pits behind Black Evo. I think I was completely... Let's see. Yeah. Apex Not Found. I don't think that is an Alonso helmet at all, now that I get a closer look at it. Let me see. Certainly some red and yellow, as you would expect, but Black Evo looking good at this stage in P4. He has the hard tyres on the car, wearing through them at quite a rate there on that front left. And it is the front left that gets such a hard workout this race. So many long, fast right-hand turns where the car is being asked a very large series of difficult questions from the front left tyre. Rysback pits again then, so those medium tyres pretty much done with around 28 minutes left on the clock. Rysback be hoping obviously to use the hard tyres at this stage now as much as through to the end. You've got Apex Not Found. Let's join him on board as we go through that horrid Mickey Mouse chicane at the end of the lap. And then because you exit that chicane so slowly, you can pretty much full throttle the way through the final corner. It's lap 18 for the top four. Pumpkin King hasn't gone around and actually caught everybody yet, but it might be on the cards. Some lapping soon to happen here, as Black Evo extending the gap out here slightly from Apex Not Found. Interesting, because I would imagine that Apex Not Found's grip levels are slightly superior at this stage, but maybe he's treating those tyres a little bit more carefully. Rysback out in 5th. He's done plenty of passing today after pit stops, and he then goes off in hunt of a podium position here, and he have to pass Apex Not Found and Black Evo on track, but of course he can go more aggressive on his hard tyres than the drivers in front have managed. DeLucas in 6th place. Brocarga team with celebrating their MAR new sponsorship as well. We love to see sponsors being added to our competitors' cars. Motsky, P8 right now, with Quicks, who's on fresher medium tyres directly behind. Looks like Bugstein giving fairly free rein by their team captain as to their livery choices. It's almost a slightly metallic white finish on Quick's car. I do quite like it, I have to say. As we head in, Solshock pitting now from second, so that will help Rysbach. I think that will help Rysbach to a position, and unfortunately Motsky off the circuit of his own accord there through turn 10 and being passed very easily then by Quicks. Looks like Motsky is very much struggling to wrestle this Lexus, affectionately or not affectionately known as the Pig in Team Mega. But he is really struggling away here. He hasn't got damage on the car, but trying to protect that front left, I think, is the order of the day. Let's have a quick close-up look, shall we, at the livery here for the Bugstein Transport Service driver, Quicks. Something quite fast and furious about it, isn't that? And they've managed to pick up Rotiform, NGK, Brembo, Brambo and Sparco sponsorship, I can see in the recent weeks. So well done to them. But Motsky in 9th now. Revelit has pitted, has repaired that front of the car to operatable condition anyway. Visually it looks very similar, but it has been attended to by the mechanics. Revelit's in 10th place, our Hungarian driver, our only Hungarian driver, I believe, in the league, but P10 for him at the moment. And then we've got Apex Specs in 11th, Monkey Games running in 12th place, Kelvin the Boss in 13th, and Gubanov having now pitted, and he's in on the medium tyres and trying to make the most of it. The sun is starting to set here at Circuit de Catalunya. We might see the headlights come on before the end of the race. We certainly did in the G1 race. Don't forget to catch up on all the races on my channel at Webbo Commentary. There's the official playlist that contains every SVR race there has ever been, including the 2024 VR Simracing World Championship races, of course. And you can access that from my channel. And make sure that you're subscribing to at SVR-Racing channel as well. And make sure, if you can, to get a friend to subscribe, especially a friend or family member that likes to watch your races when you're racing. Because if we got 2 subscriptions for every driver in the league, every member in the league I should say, we would have the minimum requirement to get monetized, which is obviously what we want to do to help the league grow and get faster and better and even more attention than it's already getting. 2 helicopters flying in tandem as they go across the first finish the first sector, start the second sector here. Apex not found and Black Evo currently fighting over second position. Apex not found will go through to the finish. I can't see Black Evo getting that hard tyre, that front left home to a finish. As suddenly now it looks like Apex not found has a good opportunity, but Black Evo able to block on the way down on the approach to turn 9. Late move coming from Apex not found to the inside. I thought Black Evo had put him off that, and I think Apex with the Apex himself, unfortunately though, doesn't get the grippy exit of the previous corner, and Black Evo hangs on at the moment to this second position. This is obviously just going to bring Rysbach into play here, and Black Evo could allow him past, allow Apex not found past here, but of course he feels like the more he can hold them up, the better for later on. But Rysbach may end up getting both of these drivers on today's pace anyway, and that Ferrari performing very, very well under the hands of the Frenchman Rysbach. Black Evo second, Apex not found third, Rysbach now in 4th position. Remember, Pumpkin King leading, but by a country mile. I don't quite know why we say that. It just means a slightly longer than than regular mile, measured mile. It's a bit like a baker's dozen, I suppose, but it's getting on for an actual mile. I think that he is in now in front, 1.3 kilometers potentially. It's not a hugely long lap here. It's obviously very twisty. Drivers never dip below 162 meters of elevation. It goes to 192 meters of elevation above sea level. I think that the locals in Barcelona hopefully will allow people to come and watch racing cars and drivers and teams to come and use their international FIA grade 1 track without any protests about tourism. Down to the inside, and that was a little bit speculative from Apex Not Found. He was never going to get there as Black Evo held his line as he keeps doing. Now Apex has to be on the defensive. We've got some moves going on behind this group as well. Let me see. We've got Soulshock defending, I think, from DeLucas. But oh wow, Apex Not Found all over the road trying to stop Rizback from taking the position. Black Evo holds the drivers up for a lap and then pits off his very used hard tyre, and then Rizback looking somewhat impatient, not using the slipstream here. Now he's had to duck back in because the Audi's not a slow car, and he gets a little bit of overspeed. Certainly gets enough to go side by side down into turn 1, and Rizback judged that very well indeed, and into second position now, and he'll be hoping to go off in pursuit of Pumpkin King, who will be protecting his medium tyres to the end of the race. Pumpkin King coming out of turn 9, Rizback not yet in turn 4, however. Behind Apex Not Found is the second Kimmy's Racing team driver, Soulshock, of our stalwart and highly supportive members, Soulshock. Don't forget, you can support the league financially with various different methods, one-off or monthly fees. Helps to bring all of our server management and our broadcasts and all sorts, stewarding and all the things that we need to go racing to the level we all expect, and it helps to fund all of that. So please, if you can, support SVR. Have a look in the Discord for all the website for ways to regularly or one-time support SVR. You can leave a tip for me on the channel as well with the thanks button, or a super chat when we're live, and you can take out a membership. At the very start of today's broadcast, there was a loading screen with 2 QR codes. Those are for the SVR and Webbo merch stores. So make a note, go back to that if you feel like it. But let's get back really into and focus on the racing. Revelit in 8th place. Behind him, Motsky, who is out of position from his usual podium fighting places here in G2. Motsky trying to make the best of this. Unfortunately, though, back into the pits for a second pit stop. Looks like the Lexi having to do a definitive 2-stopper today. Monkey Games, medium tyres, so hard to medium for both the Lessie cars today. Just sticking to the plan. Gubanov in 13th place. Looks like we've lost a driver, unfortunately, out of the grid throughout the course of the race so far. Rizback has a mountain to climb to try and get back in terms, but we have also now seen their Soulshock with a move past Apex Not Found. I wonder if that was into turn 1, was it? No, it was actually a while ago. So Soulshock making his way past as we were touring the rest of the grid. Soulshock quietly making his way past Apex Not Found on the racing medium tyres. He's actually on a better tyre now than his teammate in front, Rizback, and in a better championship position. So, I mean, if I were the team manager at this point, I would be saying, you know, you need to swap the cars for the sake of the championship, the Drivers' Championship, because, you know, all due respect to Rizback, he is an AN driver permanently and doesn't want to be taking Drivers' Championship points off his teammate Solshock. But let them race for the time being at least. Let them see what they can do, and make sure that both get away from Apex Not Fan. That's target number 1, is create a safe distance back to Coach Dave in 4th place and secure the 2-3 for the team. DeLucas looking good, although that medium tyre starting to look a little bit worrying. They were great on the hard tyres, the Brokaga Supras. I'm not convinced that they're going to be so great on the mediums here. So DeLucas obviously do well just to coast through some of the fast right-handers and protect that tyre. Teammate Breo a little further off and in an even worse situation with the tyre. We have about 6 minutes to go as far as my schedule is concerned prior to the race. That's my expectation. You can see the difference there between the start and the finish lines on the track as well. As Quicks is in 7th place. Revelit in 8th place. But fairly large gaps here in the field throughout Apex Specs. In 9th, we've got Monkey Games. 10th, Kelvin squealing the tyres through the final corner in 11th. Motsky out of the pits now, going to use the soft tyres for the final 6 minutes. In 12th, and Gubanov in 13th with a penalty to pay at the moment. Pumpkin King for Delessi with the moustache on the front is in that first position. Do you know what I'd like to see is a blend of that moustache into the open maw of the air intake at the front of the car that's already black. That's a challenge for the livery designer, so to try and blend that together. We've got Rizback in 2nd, teammate Solshock catching him in 3rd place, and then we should have some fairly close driving happening at the moment. Apex Not Fan and DeLucas now. If Brokaga could make it up into the top 4 in that Supra, I think they'll be very, very happy with a day's work. I think though at the moment, looking at 5th and 6th, it would represent possibly a season best result for the team in terms of getting 2 cars home inside the top 6, especially for the Supra. But we will see. Solshock quite close to Rizback. I don't want to miss a potential driver swap here. Rizback, I'm sure, impressing the team boss here no end by switching codes over to the it's not even like taking a step up in a Formula car. This is to a totally different driving experience in VR. Much more restricted view, although I have to say you do get the rear view mirror that you can make use of, but a restricted view nonetheless. Higher seating position, entirely different vehicle mechanics for the GT3 cars, although very similar lap time to the Adrian Newey overall, with the higher power, higher speed versus higher cornering ability and downforce of the AN cars. But I think you have to doff your cap here to Rizback for a very strong performance. Certainly had the pace to hang with Pumpkin King earlier on, albeit with a slightly softer tyre. Pumpkin King, though, since he had his stint on his own on the hard, switched over to the medium, has just put quite a bit of humility on the rest of the field, I have to say, at this stage. He doesn't have the likes of Pat Finn here this week to take him to a harder situation. You've got Quicks in 7th and a Revelit in 8th position. Another driver who has switched codes with Rizback here. Clearly, it being Father's Day, race day, that was certainly a difficult clash for a lot of drivers, and teams having to make substitutions wherever possible, find new drivers to help. DeLucas pits. That's a shame. He didn't have the fuel left on board. So DeLucas for the Brokaga team, a splash and dash potentially for them, but yeah, unfortunately that is going to mean dropping back. And Breyer was in worse straits, I think, on the tyre here. Worse on the tyre, better on the fuel, and that's probably actually explaining the difference in the tyre wear on the Supra. I thought there was a chance there for for De Lucas to get up into the top 4 or 5 positions. But sadly, it's not to be. 2 minutes remain on the race. Where is Pumpkin King at the moment? So he will start one more lap. I think everybody will do one more lap, and we'll have 27 laps total. Still has the fastest lap. He's managed to get a 1:47.843 has Pumpkin King. So the car will be almost at its lightest, but that front left on the medium tyre in bad condition. Now I imagine if the driver swap is going to happen, obviously it has to happen pretty soon here for Kimmies. Great sound of a pair of Ferraris screaming past our camera position. We're doffing our caps to red for the design of the livery here, and celebrating Pride season, of course. Everyone involved in the leadership of SVR, happy to approve the special livery for this race and stand by our LGBTIAQ+ friends. So Breo, 5th place, being challenged here. That's Breo on the medium tyre. He's trying to hold out here for the final lap. He doesn't want to pit, but unfortunately Breo, he's going to have to let Quicks go, I think, here. Quicks, well, actually they're both kind of on a similar situation with that tyre. It could well be that Revelit gets them both. He's certainly going to give it a go. Revelit down the inside, he'll get one here, and nicely done through past Breo. Goes off in hunt of Quicks. Still the 2 Kimmies cars next to each other, still in the wrong order in terms of the Drivers' Championship positioning. Pumpkin King won't be far away now from the end of the race. I think Pumpkin King crosses the line to win in Spain, and congratulations to him. What a dominant display for Pumpkin King. Wins the Spanish 7th round of the G2 division here at the VR Simracing World Championship by SVR. It's Rizback in front of teammate Solshock. I think there might be some frantic sweating on the Pratt perch here for the team bosses. Is Rizback going to do the job here? Is he proving a point at the end of the race? I wonder. Is he going to let Solshock by before the end, or are they free to race? This is Rizback coming through. Looks like he's going to hang on to 2nd place. So a 2-3 for Kimmy's racing team. Slightly in the wrong order, perhaps, for the Drivers' Championship, but Rizback showing fantastic speed. Very, very impressive display. Quicks is in 5th place, coming through. I think Breo is going to hold on. Revelit's had an accident again, I think. Oh no, is Revelit making his way through? No, I think Revelit's been off, has he? Let's see what happened on this lap then. So, yeah, there we go. That is really tough for Revelit here. He's pushing incredibly hard to tackle. Is it going to be the exit of turn 7? Oh, so often we see drivers make errors coming out of there. He's on the racing track at the moment, and that is tough. That's a really tough one to take for Revelit. So crossing the line then, Rizback and Solshock. Apex not found with him as well. And Breo and Quicks. Well, Breo will be pretty pleased, I think, to finish on that tyre. Can he even get the car turned through those final couple of corners? Quicks is in a similar perilous situation. Breo, though, teasing, coaxing that car home across those difficult corners. Apex not found, crosses the line in 4th position. Great job from him. And then Quicks crabbing through the final corner on completely broken front left tyre. Quicks for Buckstein in 5th. And Breo, if he can just hang on here, drop a gear, take it nice and steady, crosses the line in 6th place. Monkey Games has had a good run to finish up the race in P7, takes the checkered flag, and then Revelit almost caught by De Lucas, who came out on those new medium tyres at the end. Motzki on the softs, finishing 10th for Team Mega. It's not going to help them in 3rd place in the championship, I don't think. Apex Specs, the only car yet to cross the line with Kelvin the Boss and Gumanov 12th and 13th positions. But GG's, congratulations to Pumpkin King to Delesi for another fine victory. Pretty sure this is going to mean we're looking at our new championship leader here in G2. Thanks everybody for watching. Thanks for doing all the good stuff on the channel and supporting SVR. From SVR, from me, Webbo, thank you so much, and we will catch you on the next race day.